two younger girls are in Ole Miss right now. That's where we had come back the weekend that we found a disaster here. Had a water pipe busted right underneath the concrete, but it was shooting up by the wall and coming out, and this whole area was just saturated. And I had left the contract and the stuff with utilities in my office in Charlotte, so I got up the next morning. I went to the office and called the phone number that I had there, and surprisingly they answered on Mother's Day at 9 o'clock in the morning. It was a human being, and nowadays you call and all you get is computers. And I was really shocked that it was a human being, and he says, well, I'll call you back in an hour. Took the details and stuff. Within half an hour, I got called by a plumbing company that he had called. And so it took me 45 minutes to get back. I'm home 15 minutes, and the plumbing truck comes up. They had turned it on to make sure, and he figured the bus was right underneath the driveway. So he says, we need to go get some equipment. He says, I guess you want it today, don't you? I says, it's Mother's Day, and my wife's got some people coming over tonight. One way or the other, I need water. And so he left and came back with a tractor and a backhoe, and they sat here all day long. Next morning when everybody got here, they had to tear this entire driveway down because the break was right up here by the wall. And so they had to tear it down from the main shutoff valve all the way down to a good 20 more feet down there, removing some of the bushes, and then putting it aside, going down a good 3 feet, repairing the pipe, and then fill it back up the next day, and they got it fixed. One day, some plumber, a friend of mine, happened to talk, and he says, you know, your place is fairly old. You ought to think about getting this insurance with the utilities. And so I looked at it and figured it was relatively inexpensive, so I says, why not? I mean, I couldn't believe it at 9 o'clock in the morning on Mother's Day, speaking to a live person. He was very cordial, and I told him, you know, if Mama's not happy, nobody's happy. Came back in following Monday, and worked all day and put the dirt back in. Some of my trees had to be moved. They took the backhoe and moved them, put them back in. It's just amazing what they did.